Hi, thanks for joining me. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a baby wave, which is a really lovely spinal wave. It's an articulation for the spine, and I use it in a lot of my sequences to link poses together. So it's a transitional movement. And it also is the basis, it's the foundation for then doing the full waving vinyasa from downward facing dog. So it's a really, really great one to get familiar with early on in your practice. I learned the baby wave from my teacher Julie, so thank you so much Julie Martin at Brahmani Yoga for teaching me this, and I'm honoured to share it with you now. So if you haven't already done the Finding Support on All Fours video, I'd recommend just going back and doing that one first, because that's where we're going to begin from for our baby wave, is from all fours position. So come onto your hands and knees. Take a little bit of time finding your supported tabletop position, getting hands, knees in the most comfortable position for you. And the movement that baby wave is based on, which we're going to begin with, is cat and cow. Okay, so for cat and cow, slight bend in your elbows, so we're not locking the joints of the elbows out. And then we're going to begin by lifting the chest, lifting the tailbone, gaze is forwards, and the belly is dipping towards the ground, and you've got this arch in the lower back. Again, soften the elbows so you're not locking anything out. And then we reverse that, so gently pressing through the heels of the hands, round your spine towards the ceiling and take your gaze to your pelvis or your belly button. Really long through the back of the neck. Again, just notice if you've locked the elbows out, gently bend, soften the elbows, and then let's reverse into cow pose. Lifting the chest, lifting the tailbone, belly is dipping towards the ground, gaze forwards. So if you lock the elbows out, you'll probably find that you start to create a lot of tension around your shoulders and neck. So that's why we have a slight bend in the elbows, and also a slight feeling of dragging the hands back towards your knees to help the shoulder blades move down the back. Again, cat pose, rounding the spine, gaze towards the navel. Let's just do one more time like that. Coming into cow pose, rounding into cat pose. Okay, next time you're coming through cow pose with the tailbone lifted, we're going to pause here, and then we're going to start to glide the sit bones back towards the heels. So we're bringing it into a rolling cat and cow. So let the sit bones come to the heels, round your back, gaze towards your navel, and now start to lift the hips away from the heels, and you're rounding up through cat pose. When your shoulders come over your wrists, lift the chest, lift the sit bones, and then again, glide the pelvis back towards your heels. So it's the same spinal movements as in cat and cow, but now we're just letting this become a full continuous movement with the pelvis moving as well. So let's do a few more times, rounding up through the back, gazing at the navel. When the shoulders land over the wrists, then we lift the chest, lift the tailbone, and take the hips back. Okay, let's pause now. Walk your hands back towards your knees. Let's just give a little bit of a relief for the hands and the wrists. You can come to any comfortable seat to do this. You don't have to be sitting on your heels. So find what's comfortable for you. Make the hands into fists, and then just start to circle the fists around. And then flamenco dancer hands, articulating through the fingers as well. Okay, a few rolls for the shoulders. And now we'll get into the baby wave. So I'm just going to show you what the baby wave looks like one time through, so you can have a look, and then we'll go through it together a few times, and then we'll lead it into a different position lying on the belly. All right, so baby wave begins from a position called puppy, okay, with the arms outstretched, and we're in this kind of pouncing position where I've got quite a lot of leverage from my feet, my toes on the ground, and they can help me bring the pelvis forwards. Okay, so the toes, the feet initiate the movement, and we round all the way through a long cat pose. Let the shoulders come over the wrists, and then the pelvis starts to come down towards the ground. At this point, we're going to go nice and slow, not dumping or forcing the pelvis down to the ground, lifting the chest. Okay, so that's basically the baby wave. And once we're in this position, which is a modified up dog, there's a few different options that we can take. But that's the basic movement that we're making. Okay, so let's go there together. We'll start by finding our puppy pose. So come into all fours. Take your hands further forward than your shoulders, and you can also take them a little bit wider than your shoulders, just to give yourself space. Okay, and then tuck the toes behind you and start to send your hips backwards. But we're not going to sit the hips on the heels. We want to just keep them hovering away from the heels. And then let your chest and your head relax down between the arms. So you're in this kind of long puppy position. With your head, neck and chest relaxed, just start to sway the torso side to side. So you've got a bit of traction all the way from the hands through the arms. And it should feel like quite a nice opening across the fronts of the armpits and into the backs of the shoulders. It does for me, at least. I really enjoy. I could just stay here, really, making this movement. But let's move. Okay, so come to stillness. Start by pressing into your toes. Find that sense of pressing the toes into the ground, and notice how that initiates the forward momentum of the pelvis. So just try that a few times, pressing into the feet, relaxing, pressing into the feet. And now as you press into the feet, let the back round, let the pelvis start to move forwards. Gaze at your navel, so you're in this really rounded position with the body. And then when your shoulders come over your wrists, just gently, briefly lift the head. And then we're going to take it back again. So we're not going all the way down yet, just preparing the body. So take the hips back. And then again, press into your feet. Find that forward momentum of the pelvis first. And then initiating with the feet, start to let the pelvis move forwards. Round the body. Navel towards the spine, gaze towards the pelvis. And then as the shoulders come over the wrists, start to let the pelvis get a little bit heavier, a little bend in your elbows, lift your chest, and then take it back again. Okay, so this time we're going to come all the way forwards. Press into your feet, start to round the back up towards the ceiling, moving the pelvis forwards. Go slow so you can find that nice articulation for your spine. Shoulders coming over the wrists now. Let your elbows bend gently. Pelvis comes towards the ground, and then the chest lifts through the arms. And again, just go as far as feels comfortable with the pelvis. So you might be a little bit up here if it's not comfortable to bring the pelvis all the way down. Okay, re-bend the elbows. And now just start to turn the head from side to side. So we want to check that we've not clenched up around the jaw, the shoulders and the neck. If it's more comfortable, you can always untuck the toes at this point. Okay, and then use your hands to press you back towards your heels. Okay, and let's do that one more time. So press into your toes, start to round your upper back, the whole of the back towards the ceiling, moving the pelvis forward, shoulders over wrists, and then the pelvis starts to lower. Then the chest and the head can lift. A little bend in your elbows, and maybe now you press into the right toes and lift the right knee away from the ground, put it back down, lift the left, Maybe you feel good to lift both knees away from the ground. Bring the knees to the floor, untuck your toes, bend your elbows, and we're going to come all the way down onto our bellies. And then just rest your forehead onto your hands. And you might actually want to stack both wrists on top of one another and then place the forehead onto the wrists. And that's a little bit of pressure down through your wrists to ease any tension or achiness. Give your hips a little roll side to side. And we'll end with one back strengthener and shoulder opener, just to relieve any tension that might have been created around the shoulders. So first of all, coming into Sphinx pose, bring your forearms onto the ground, elbows underneath the shoulders. Great. Make sure the toes are untucked, gently press the toes into the ground, and then find that slight pulling action, dragging the hands, the forearms back towards the hips. Feel the shoulder blades move down on your upper back. So this is the same action that we made in cow pose from all fours. And then from here, turn the head side to side, gazing over one shoulder and then the other. So you can really feel all the muscles around the upper back working here. Nice. Come back down. Okay, and then for our shoulder opener, we're going to take that line from the ground. So I'm going to start with my right arm. I'm going to reach the right arm out long like a wing with the right hand in line with the top of the right shoulder. So scooch over so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so my right hand's in line with the top of my right shoulder. Bring your forehead back onto the ground, and the left hand is by the sides of your ribs, and we're going to use the left hand to press us over. So press into your left hand, roll over onto your right side, so you're coming onto the right side of your body with the legs stacked one on top of the other, and we're rolling onto the right shoulder. Now you don't need to come all the way over. Just take yourself a little bit away from the ground if it's really intense in the top of the right shoulder. But if you feel okay, we're going to rock forwards and backwards on the pelvis, getting a little massage into the top of the right shoulder. If this is feeling okay and you want to take it further, then you could step the top leg, the top foot behind you on the ground with the knee bent. And that'll just create a little bit more opening in the right shoulder. Take a few nice deep breaths here. And then come all the way back down onto the belly. Go nice and slow. Rest with the forehead to the hands. Okay, and then let's do that on the other side. So left arm reaching out long like a wing. I'm going to turn so you can see. Left arm out wide, the left hand is in line with the top of the left shoulder. Right hand is down by the sides of the ribs. Bring your forehead to the ground and then press with your right hand so that you roll over onto the left side. Keep the head down on the ground if possible. If that's not possible, you could place a cushion underneath your head. And then again, find that sense of rocking forwards and backwards, using the right hand as a kind of lever on the ground to support you. Massaging into the top of the left shoulder. And if you want, you can step the right foot back behind you onto the ground to open up in the top of the shoulder a little bit more. And then use the breath to take you deeper. Deep inhales and exhales. Okay, let's bring it back down now. So roll slowly back onto your belly. Place the forehead to the hands. Feel the breath as it moves in and out of the upper back. And then just gently start to lift yourself back up through all fours. and in any comfortable seated position. Just bring yourself forwards. It can be cross-legged, it can be legs out in front of you. Close your eyes. Take a few nice, deep, conscious breaths. And then gently blink your eyes open. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. I hope it was useful to you, and enjoy the rest of your day or evening, whatever it has in store for you. Enjoy.